Macmillan Audio presents Silence and Shadow, written by Erin Beaty. Read for you by Kathleen Mcinerney. Chapter 1. I know the moment something is wrong. Simon's hand grips mine with a sudden intensity, but it's not a squeeze for my attention or an expression of affection. It's urgent, with an edge of fear. His movements haven't indicated we need to flee, though, which means I shouldn't react. We're standing off to the side of an open area where several streets intersect, watching a group of children perform a traditional dance, their ribbons on the ends of sticks, more or less in sync with the festival music and each other. Not one child is over 8 years old, so they must have practiced several weeks for this amount of coordination. Simon isn't looking at me or the colorful celebration, however. His eyes are narrowed at something across the square. Trying not to be obvious, I lean into his side, close enough to feel the hum of magic coming from the bloodstones in his pocket. Their focused energy makes my skin numb, so he usually carries them for me. What is it?
That man.
Simon replies in a much lower voice, but we're standing in the shadow of a 3-story building, so I can hear him clearly. I follow his line of sight over the crowd. With the solstice festival celebrating the longest and holiest day of the year, outsiders are common as sparrows, which works both to our advantage and disadvantage. We'd arrived on the island of Brinsuley several days ago, then traveled to the capital city of Londunium on foot. The journey to the coast of Gallia from Collis was much faster. Traveling at night on horses, we then sold to buy passage across the narrow sea. It's not likely any word about Simon as a fugitive has reached Brinsuley, let alone Londunium, in those 3 weeks, especially as he's believed to be dead. But there's always a chance he'll be recognized. His unusual eyes, light blue with a wedge of brown in the left, are impossible to hide.
The one in the gray tunic and black cap, Simon whispers.
I find the man. His blonde hair hangs in greasy strings over his forehead, and his sallow skin glistens with a sheen of sweat. Something has him agitated, and he rubs his hands in a washing motion, almost compulsively. I have to speak much louder for Simon to hear me, so I stand on my toes to put my mouth closer to his ear as I pretend to watch the dance again. Has he been staring at you?
No, he keeps looking around the crowd. Stopped on you twice.
That doesn't make any sense. How is that a problem?
Because he's searching for a target, someone easy and worth the effort.
Simon pauses.
Third look. He thinks you have potential, but you're fine as long as you're with me.
Are you sure? No one would take Simon for a fighter. He's as thin as a garden rake and stands in a way that takes up little space. I grimace as I peek at the man again before putting my chin on Simon's shoulder. No offense, but he could probably overpower you. He doesn't argue with that.
Yes, but 2 against 1 is riskier, especially when we look like a couple who might fight to protect each other. He'll go for an easier mark, especially with as many as he could find here.
So why are you worried? I ask, tucking my travel bag firmly between us. There's probably a 6 other thieves in the square with the same mindset. Simon finally allows himself to glance down at me.
Because he's not just a pickpocket. He's got violence on his mind, too. It's in his eyes, in his movements.
I don't have to ask how he can read the man's intentions.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?